Hey, Jenny Penny.
Hi, James. You look beautiful.
Thanks. I just put my hair up and put a filter on.
Oh, I need a filter. I need a lot of things.
Isn't that cute?
Oh my God, that is so cute.
I found this sweater. I think this might be a little big, but.
Oh, that's adorable. I love the color.
And then I got this little dress too.
Oh my God, I love the sleeves and the pleats. That's adorable.
Really competitive with these other 5-year-olds here.
Does she like to dress up?
Yeah, but normally not how I want her to. She wants to wear like sparkle.
Yeah. I lost my control in grade 1.
Oh yeah, I have a little bit of control. But it's usually like it's some days she'll let me, another day she's like, I'm gonna go get my own clothes. Hello and welcome to Table for Five with No Reservations. Take a seat at the table for a fresh, sweet, salty tart, and pleasantly bitter conversation.
I want to thank you for taking a seat at the table. Tonight we are concluding our 19th series about the behind the scenes of special education. This is our No Reservations episode, and we are just so, first of all, I can't believe our kids are back in school. I can't believe the series is done already. And it's just incredible. I feel like we just started summer, and then it took 300 days to finish summer, and then now we're back to school. Anyways, tonight at the table, I have Jen Dunn.
Hi, everyone.
Jamie.
Hello.
Tabs.
Hello.
Kimmy.
Hey.
And I'm Rachel Flanagan. What a series, guys. I was just listening back to the Carly episode, and man, we had some great guests this time. Katie to start with, and then Alyssa and Carly about her charter school and stuff. And then our first anonymous storytellers. How cool was that?
Yeah.
It's fun. We've always been proud to share this platform with all of our listeners or our writer friends to build these storyteller episodes. But this time, instead of really sharing the stage, we just sort of pass the microphone. It's cool to be able to let people be unfiltered and not be worried about that, you know?
Yeah.
Also, all the different perspectives. You know,
I liked about this series thinking about it from the special education, because we think so much from our perspectives of parents, but like hearing from the special education realm or people that work around kids like ours and kids in general, and just knowing that there's people out there that really do care and do try. And not, not saying that people don't, but I think some people get jaded throughout time, or you have a run-in with people and our deepest fears, which sometimes are irrational, but also that like someone's not going to like our kids, or that we're going to have to fight against the school because of this and this. And knowing that like those teachers are really on our team, sometimes they're held back by those other entities. And also like I really liked our first episode talking to Katie and just like thinking back on that beginning of our journey and how scary it was and how much scary it is for us to like put our kids into school. And it just, I don't know, it really reminded me of that. And I really hope there's moms out there who find like these episodes who are really scared about their kids starting school and being like, okay, this is okay. We can get through this.
Well, because it's, and I think for people on the outside, it's hard to imagine, but we've all written about it. We've all talked about it. Our kids cannot come home and tell us how their day was. They can't tell us if they had a friend at lunch. They can't tell us where they ate lunch. They can't tell us really anything about their day. Kaya is considered verbal, absolutely. But she cannot have that in-depth back and forth reciprocal conversation. She has a severe language delay. So, we count on these teachers and paras to really tell us how our kid's day was. So I think that part of like communication is, a lot of times their hands are tied. So
yeah, and you get people like, especially with kindergarten, I had more than one person say to me, well, all parents are nervous about sending their kids to kindergarten. I'm like, no, actually, no, it's not the same in any sense. Any sense of the word, it's not the same, because my son cannot tell me if something is bothering him, if his schedule has changed, if something happened at school. Even if he gets hurt, it's like a question mark of whether he can relay how he actually got hurt. That it's not the same nervous energy.
No.
No,
I can tell. I just had my typical child start kindergarten, and it's hard. I don't want to like put this on every experience with her, but her being my second child and being the typical child, everything is like night and day. Like it was, I was sad to send her to kindergarten. Like it's a big moment in your life. You're keeping, and of course, like kindergartens aren't forthright about everything, and you get a little nervous about things happening and bad people and stuff like that. But like it's so different, like fundamentally different, how I could figure out something's going on with her way easier than with my son. Like it's just so different. And I hate that the comments about anything when someone says, well, all parents are worried about that. And I'm like, of course you are, and that's valid, and you
Yeah.
can't be about that, but
Yeah.
it's a different level of worry.
Well, and I also say not to be the ours is harder than yours, because I know but when people send their child to school, they don't typically have the worry of eloping and
Safety.
safety,
Safety.
that the extent of the safety that we have,
Yeah. And
weight
and
that people don't understand.
yeah, and I think you're right, Jamie. Every parent is nervous about sending their
Yes, of
kids to
course.
kindergarten, but it's not the same bracket. It's not, you can't say that to me like
I
that.
feel like people get concerned about the kid's teacher, like in a personality level,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I was.
not like in a level of what ifs. Like the amount of things that could go awry or the things that need to be in place for my kid to be supported. I mean, Celie Flanagan is a very verbal child, and she will come home from school. Like last year, we finished out the school year with me getting a letter that she had gone into seclusion. And in addition, there was a hold form and there was this risk assessment done. And I didn't hear about it until like 5 days later.
Yeah.
Seclusion. I mean, literally 5 days. And so much can happen in those moments in terms of trauma. Like there's just so much on the line for our kids when they're going through something that nobody can support them through, like.
Well, and Jamie
Think
said
about
that.
how overwhelming it is for them to be there.
Yeah.
I mean, in general, any child in kindergarten, a lot of kids, are nervous and shy and, but it's just a different path. It's my favorite quote in Kate's book about walking a path, a different path than you thought you would be walking when your child was diagnosed.
Well, and Jamie said that on one of the episodes in the series that they wait for our kids to fail before there's success put on the table. That's a different idea than a neurotypical child going to school and falling into the program of kindergarten. They don't wait for them. They're not watching for them to fail first before they provide what they need in the classroom. It's a different set of tools and needs,
expectations
on the front end. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I clearly think that, like, yes, typical parents, my other children did not communicate what was going on. Like they didn't, stuff would go on, I probably wouldn't know. That's just one aspect of what's difficult about sending our kids. Like that's one part of it. Our kids are extra vulnerable because of their additional needs, because of their sensory needs, because of their, lack of understanding in the typical way. There's so many things that make our kids extra vulnerable, and that's what makes it scary, because we know that our kids are extra vulnerable. The communication is just an added layer that makes it that much harder, but it's not the only. Yeah, of course, some typical kid. I never got anything out of my son. I go to the parent meeting and they're like this. I'm like, what? Like, how's school? Good. Okay, that's like all I got.
That's all you got.
But yeah, so it is scary, I think, when you're sending a 5-year-old to school, because a lot of them are not going to communicate effectively, even when they're neurotypical. But it's not just that I feel like that's just one of the layers. Like, okay, pull that layer off, there's another one that pops up. Pull that layer off, there's another one that's there. There's so many things that make it harder for us. And I know that people are sometimes trying to be nice and trying to be understanding,
comfort you. Yeah, they are.
They're just kind of diminishing the struggle that we have when they do that.
There's a couple things that go along. Like, I can't remember it might have been Kate Swinson, but someone one time was talking about we send our kids to school and we know they're going to push buttons. Like our kids, there's something about sending your kid to school knowing that your kid's likely going to be the hardest kid in that classroom. And you're like for my son, for example, he's probably not the hardest kid in the autism room, but when he goes in the typical class, I know he's going to be difficult, and he's going to be difficult for that teacher. And I'm like, in my head, I just imagine at a, not that horrible, but that teacher's like, oh great, Jesse's here, this is another thing I have to deal with. That's already a yucky feeling going into school. And then at an extreme, it's like bad people who do like to pick on people, they usually pick the most vulnerable people, and we're sending our kids who are the most vulnerable people somewhere where we can't be, that we don't have much access to, and that's freaking scary. And besides the fact that our kids might be aggressive, or they might elope, or they might do this or this, it's just things you don't even have to worry about with most typical kids. Everyone has their struggles, and I was also thinking our kids, by our time that our kids get to kindergarten, we've been through a journey
Already.
way more than other people. Like, so in some ways, maybe that's helpful because we've been used to other people, but in a whole other way, like the buildup of so much stress in everything we've got to get to that point, it's just so different.
Well, the label of a diagnosis, any diagnosis, comes with people's idea of what that means. So autism specifically is such a array of people and where they land on needs. And, you know, like one thing I found pretty fascinating is every person that like dealt with Nixon or worked with him in the school system all made mention of how polite he is as a human. Like he's just a polite kid, please and thank you. You know, we've worked on that since he was a little guy. Like it's important to us to like have that part of his language. It wasn't in the way of like, oh, your kid's so polite. It was like surprised that he had a capability of being polite to someone else. I just found that like they already had an idea of who he was because of his diagnosis before they had an opportunity to actually get to know him as a kiddo, you know? And we deal with that from the onset, even pre-diagnosis. Like people have an idea of who our kids are based on the paperwork that we provide to them ahead of time and all of that stuff before they even get an opportunity to meet our children and what their spirit is about, you know? So I think you're taking all of that with you too to school when they're dealing with teachers, which is academic based, and we're used to dealing with therapy providers.
The other thing about that is that the relationship is so different when you have a therapist parent relationship.
Yeah.
Like we are able to leave that center, that service. They like you're paying for a service. It's so different than going into the teaching, like a relationship with a teacher. It's just really is different. I don't know. I felt really validated when I was like, just as a special needs mom, as I listened to each of our guests this series discuss how much they'd like to do for their kids in their classroom and could or couldn't, what that takes out of their own life and resources versus what's supported by the school. In addition to that, hearing Carly talk about like the politics and the bureaucracy of trying to just build a supportive environment for a group of people. And then you can work so hard and build this grassroots thing and have this glorious thing. And all it takes is like a misunderstanding of a board of directors. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just all so fragile and fickle. And like you just need these people at the charge all the time in order to be successful in this life. And it's just so messed up because we need support, not more hurdles. You know, I don't know. It makes me sad. It's hard to imagine digging our way through a systemic change when
we're tired. Yeah, that's
when
right.
we're tired.
We're tired. Yeah.
Well, and I think it's also like just again, like putting our stories out there, putting other people's stories out there, just reminds me of how important this is. And like the hope that like teachers listen to this series or listen to us in general, and most people in our lives, like our episode, the where we talk to providers and stuff like that, where it's like, obviously there's numbers and there's data and we get all that, but like also we're human, and you've met like 5 kids with autism maybe, but that might be completely different than my child's autism. And just that what we would need, and like you know, we're always told this by providers, but it doesn't seem to like be implemented anymore. Like you as the parent, you know the best and you know the best, but it's like, okay, well then listen to us and let's make change. You know, 1 in 35 kids now is diagnosed with autism. Like, not even just neurodiversity, it's like just autism. And it's like, okay, that means 1 kid per classroom has autism. So we need to like start thinking outside of the box. We need to allow alternative schools to
maybe we should light a match in the box.
Yeah.
Well, that also means the range of what autism looks like is so much more varied than it was in the past. So it's like, I feel like people either go to, severe behaviors, like really like high supports needed, or quirky and like, you know, I feel like there's like that's where people's minds kind of go to one or the other for some reason, when there's just like a whole array of things that go in between that, or mix it up. Like maybe they have some high support needs for this, but like over here they're fine, you know.
It's great. Yeah.
We have a little boy at the daycare who has like high support needs, I would say. but like he doesn't have really any behaviors, which is like,
Mm.
you
What
don't
a
usually
combo.
see
Yeah.
that with that, so it's so different in each child. So I think
Yeah.
with the high amount of children being diagnosed, it's a much bigger scale of differences between children.
Yeah.
And I
When
think
I
that's
Their
part of
needs
that
are.
exposure and like listening to parents and stuff, putting ourselves out there so people can see like, oh, that's also
Mhm.
autism, or it could
Mhm.
also, like it can mean a million things.
Well, when I think about Nixon's kindergarten experience versus what Nora's kindergarten experience is going to be, both are nerve-wracking and both are going to be nerve-wracking in different ways, like the amount of sensory needs that Nora has is not set up to be in a mainstream classroom. I
Right.
mean, that's just what it boils down to. At this moment in time, we'll see. She has a year left of preschool. But, she's in a classroom of 6 kids right now. There's like 3 aides and 1 teacher, and Nixon is in a mainstream classroom with significant support. He can
Yeah.
be in a mainstream classroom and be successful and when they implement these things. And both of my kids are diagnosed with autism.
Yeah.
It's like it's a whole different, and maybe in a year's time it will be a different story for her, but I can't imagine that her sensory system is going to change that dramatically. Maybe her language, maybe her, some of the behavior struggles that we have or whatever will change with time and age, or it could swing the other way. It could be, more challenging at that point, more frustration, more if her language doesn't develop or whatever, so it's pretty fascinating.
Well,
Like-
that's the other thing. I feel like the first question is, are they verbal? Like
Yeah.
verbal doesn't always mean high
Anything.
functioning or severe. Like
Yeah,
you
or
can
low
be
functioning. Yeah.
you can be severe and have language. You can
Yeah.
be higher functioning or like moderate and not have a lot of language. Like it's like
Well,
I feel like
yeah.
people think like, and I do know it kind of it does guide you a little bit onto like maybe where somebody may fall, but like it's not verbal versus nonverbal equals severe versus not severe. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's just once somebody here, I mean, you can be verbal but not be able to emotionally regulate at all. You
Yeah.
can be verbal and not be able to keep your hands to yourself and keep your feet inside your classroom. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just
Are you talking about
and
my kid?
no. Or you can be severe and not have those issues. So it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and with her, like she's academically advanced, like as far as what routines, what they are teaching, what they can glean from her experiences in the classroom because they know what they are doing with a child who's nonverbal to actually like understand how to assess some of those things. Like she picked
Her
up those
receptive language is so huge.
She's wicked smart. She's wicked smart. We just don't have a door into the box to know what she actually knows at this point, But academically, if we're looking at the lens of education, I think she's probably advanced in a lot of areas, but she's also nonverbal. She has more skills, gross motor, fine motor, all these kind of things than Nixon did at her age, but also is nonverbal. So it is like a whole array of like, how do you fit our children into what type of classroom with what type of support? And is the school willing or able to do that? That's, able
and
to.
then you have to make sure that they are doing what they are saying they're doing. So then you have to make sure that they're following the IEP, that they're getting the services that they're telling you that they're giving, because like our kids,
they don't always let you in.
It's not like we can ask them. Alyssa just says yes to everything except for to school. I asked her, did she
want her on an airplane?
Quick little backstory is that Alyssa's supposed to go to school 5 days, but because of the pandemic, she got put down to 2 and then up to 3 and up to 4 and back down to 3. And they're adding a 4th day, but she refuses to go because now in her mind, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is when she goes to school. And that's the way it is. So they're adding back in Tuesdays, and I've yet to get her to go on a Tuesday. So I thought I was real smart, because I'm like, I don't even know how she knows what day it is. And then I'm like, it must be from her iPad. So we shut the display off that says what day of the week it is. So she can't see it on her iPad. So I'm like, with vacation and everything, she'll probably just be I mean, I don't know what friggin' day it is. So she'll probably just be confused and not realize what day it is. Well, nope, she realized it, but I shut it off kind of late. So then tonight I go, oh, school tomorrow? She goes, no, no, no. She goes, no, thank you. And then she's just out there. I just heard her out there saying, no, thank you, don't want to. And I'm like, okay.
Oh my
But
God.
she loves school. So this is the thing. It's not like she doesn't want to go because she doesn't like school.
Yeah.
On
A rigid
Wednesday,
idea.
if I kept her home on Thursday and like went to work and didn't get her up, she'd wake up and be bullshit. So like, it's just that she thinks it's supposed to be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
It's her routine. It's her routine. She doesn't
Yeah,
want a
and
routine messed
she
with.
knows
Yeah.
exactly when
Rigid.
she knows exactly when those days are. So thanks school for screwing all that up.
I was
It's
on the
so
phone with you last week and she was like, I'm getting in the shower.
Yes, she did. So she was running around the house saying, "No leopard, okay, no leopard, okay," which is just like a particular phrase that she has. But it's also her way of like trying to get our attention. But she
She's
says it
prompting
67
somebody.
times,
Yeah.
yeah.
literally in 3 hours. So it's like I'm not even like I'm
Hearing
not
it
even listening to it
anymore.
anymore, right?
Yeah,
And then I'm
yeah.
like, why is she running around? What is she doing? And she was in front of the bathroom. And I go, what? I said, do you want something? She pointed to the shower. She's never done this ever.
That's
But
amazing.
she knows on Tuesday night, she always has a shower on Tuesday night because she has school the next day. So she pointed to the shower, like, hello, I need a shower. I have school tomorrow. And I'm like, Auntie Jen will be so proud right
That's what I was
now.
gonna
Auntie Jen
say.
will be so
I
proud.
know.
So proud.
But then
So
my
proud.
husband said, oh, I told her to go in the shower. And I go, oh. And then I talked to him later. He goes, no, that's not what I said. I said I always give her a shower on Tuesday night. And I'm like, so she literally like prompted it herself. But she
Yeah.
said no leopard. She didn't say shower, but whatever. That's we'll work on that
She
for another
knew
day.
what was happening.
No,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
she's like,
Yeah.
hello, shower, Tuesday, school's tomorrow.
It's
She's
mind
now
blowing.
saying, now she's
Incredible.
out there saying no leopard.
No.
So before we finish this episode, I just want to connect
Love
about
you.
I love you, Lulu, where everybody's at because some of us have started school. The thing that makes me smile so big is that Lou gets school year round. Hi, Lulu.
Hi, Lulu.
Hello.
Hi, love you. Are you
Oh.
who's the smartest?
Hold on, come here. Come here. Do you want to go to school tomorrow?
The monkey.
You want to go to school tomorrow? Oh, you're gonna be nice in front of the audience. She's smart. No, you don't want to
No.
go to school tomorrow? No. Okay.
She's like, my fans
No.
are here.
Bye
The
bye.
thing that made me smile is that Alyssa goes to school year round, which I just simply cannot wait for. I realize my kid is 8, we're in the 3rd grade, but aging out has never seemed so good to me. Like just some sort
Just
of
better hope they don't
year-round program.
have another pandemic and mess it all up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go at the germ like with a blowtorch before it can happen. We're gonna go year round at some point. I think I'm T-minus 10 years. Anyhow, with that in mind, I think Jane, your kids started first, right? And then
Yes.
Tabs. Yeah.
Mhm.
So Jesse started August 8th, which was a little crazy for us. We got back from Europe August 5th. So that was like a whoop, turnaround back to school. But it actually, which I thought it was actually kind of good because it was like, okay, summer's over. We went on this trip and now it's like back to school.
Yeah.
So he does really well after a vacation or a break, like that break from routine, especially when it's like when we go somewhere on vacation, because it's finally like he can let go of his routine. When at home, it's like, these are the expectations. I think Lulu's a lot like that too. And so he's done really well. Today was his first rough day back. And I got a little sad because he, for the first time really in a typical class. So he is in an autism room most of the time, but he goes to he's in and out this year, I would say more than before, but he goes to literacy with a para and math. And today he was having a really hard time and he screamed in literacy, I believe. And that stuff just kind of like I know my mind, like obviously my first concern, because when I picked him up, he had a rough day and they told me is my son. But then it also kind of breaks my heart because like, speaking of all that stuff, it's like my son is capable of being around peers, typical peers his age. And when things like that happen, like, and I'm sure there's things all day that it's clear to those other children he's different. And like, I hope that that's like spoken of well at the school. But I just know like in that moment when he screams, it's like the other kids are probably like, judging him or making comments or even laughing at him. And I'm just like, oh, breaks my heart. I have so many fears about that at school. So like, I will say we're about 3 weeks in and this was his first rough day. I mean, which is good in the way, like you don't want to start at the very beginning rough because then you're screwed the rest of the year. So that's good. But I think like the newness of like everything this year is kind of wearing off and he's getting used to it, meaning he'll be more comfortable, which means it can get a little rocky. We are actually stopping therapy. This is our last week of therapy for now, of Monday through Friday daily therapy in the afternoon, which he's actually really loving therapy right now, but I think it will be good for him to have a little less expectation on his day. So I'm hoping that helps. And then Amelie started kindergarten a couple weeks ago. She started a week after him. And so she's doing great. And her teacher seems to really love her. Over the summer break, she was diagnosed with a blood disease. And so we had to have like a meeting with the school and everything about that, because day to day, it's not really like a life-threatening thing. But if she gets hurt at all, it can be. She basically doesn't clot like the rest of us do, or as quickly as do. So like if she gets injured or falls and hits her head, or even like twists an ankle or something like that, she could have bleeding, joint bleeding, or obviously like brain bleeding and stuff like that. So we have to be really careful with that. So that's added like this kind of scary element to her being gone 6 hours a day for us. And of course, I think within that first week back, she already got a bloody nose at school, and I had to go to the school and help stop it. And
which I'm sorry to cut you off, Jane, but it's like there are parts of all of this stuff where it's like a bad day 3 weeks in, or a nosebleed the week of, after all these meetings. That's like, yes, like hear me, because 10 days ago when I was at a meeting and telling you how to press a nose hole and you were annoyed with me and now you need my help, please just know that we're serious about it.
Yeah. And it's just like another thing where I mean, really it took, I mean, I've had so many calls from school already between my two kids, like, and this is part of the like not typical part. It's like Jesse got like kind of hurt on the playground, but he's very dramatic about injuries. Like, you know, my son does not have that thing with autism where he doesn't feel pain. I mean, I think he feels it at a normal level, but he really freaks out. So like I think I've had a call home like 5 times in these first 3 weeks about one of my kids, and it's like, oh, like I just remember my birthday was a couple weeks ago, and like that one day I was like the first day in a couple days I hadn't got a call home, and I was like, this was my birthday gift. So I don't know, school for us is a lot, but it's going pretty well for us, even though that seems like dramatic, I guess. But I have a lot of hope. Jesse's in the 2nd grade now, and I really like where we're at.
It's so good. It's good to hear. It's good to just get it started.
Yeah.
And thank God the Europe to school version went okay. Like, thank God.
The whole thing went okay. Well, even I got back, we were on a call, and I ended up with just Jen, I think, at the end, and she was like, what'd you say to me? It was something like, I'm so glad it ended up going well, because she's like, I was so nervous for you, but I know you told us not to say anything to you, so I did it. I'm like, yeah, I know. I told you not to say it.
You guys really sweating buckets.
Yeah.
Well, and then we have the big kids going back to school, and then that means Kira's going to be moving out again, back into the dorm. So we'll see how that goes. See how Kira can pack and get her stuff out of here. I mean, they literally sometimes
throw it out the window.
Throw it out the window. Thank God we were rich. Thank God our house is one level. They put it out the window so she doesn't see it leaving the house. And then we'll see how that goes, and then she won't want her back again. So that's just life with autism.
Nixon's been back a week and a day, pretty much at this point. And Nixon always has like a 2-week lag with changes. So we usually see behaviors, I want to say about the third and fourth week is usually when things start. But I will say that he was out of school for 5 weeks, I think, total, because they did summer school, which was a different system for him and less hours or whatever. But he was so anxious those last couple weeks, just like unsettled, you know, out of a routine, didn't know what to expect every day. Like we were doing fun stuff and swimming and going to water parks, but his anxiety was like just off the rails, waiting. And I have seen that come down pretty dramatically since school started, which is nice. And it's the same school, his same aides he has this year. He has a new teacher, but some of his buddies from kindergarten are in his class. So it seems like he has like the routine of the actual school going this year, which was really nice. They have talked to us about paring back his support, and I was like, let's have a meeting about it. So that will be coming. And then Nora starts on the 5th of September, which it'll be the same teacher for her, same classroom, same schedule. So, and the same schedule she did over the summer. So I think it'll be good for her too. But she's a little bit easier with having nothing. Like, I mean, she has speech and OT now, thank God. I just got a call the other day. This is crazy. We got referrals in January from another provider. We just got a call. They had openings.
Oh, hey, it's been 9 months.
Hey, cool. Yeah. Anyway, that's a side note. But I think the OT is helping her so freaking much. It is
Awesome.
mind blowing how much that's helping. She's not a huge fan of the speech therapy, but we're getting a routine for that. And then Nixon is actually going to be starting speech on Wednesday. And then he has an OT eval coming up too. So he'll be back in those type of services too. So we'll be back on the crazy schedule of therapies and then they do therapeutic writing every other week. And then I bumped up Nora's to on the weeks when they don't do it together, she's going to have one of her own individual sessions on Fridays when she doesn't have school. So
She
That
loves
girl in
it,
the
right?
barn.
she loves it. Yeah, she
Loves
loves it. Yeah. So I figure if she doesn't have school on Friday, I can take her independently and, give her an extra day of that on the off weeks or whatever. But I will tell you, I've just had Nora. One kid is so much easier than two kids. It's it's like so much easier.
Like half.
Just half. Just half.
Timmy's like, and I'll add you 3 more on top of that.
I can't even imagine. Well, two
5 and 4. It's
autistic
really hard.
kiddos, two autistic kiddos, I think might equate to 4 children. I just am gonna say that.
You're like, I get bonus points for each.
No, I don't think
Hey,
it
I
does.
got a nonverbal learning, ADHD and autism. So
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
and
Oh, it does.
Kira. I don't
I
know.
know it doesn't. I know it doesn't. I
No, I'm
can't
just
imagine
kidding.
4 kids, Kimmy. I say
Well,
that all the time. You're a
but
gold
you
star.
have like all the double the therapies and stuff. Like obviously like the day-to-days are, but like we barely make all these appointments. I mean, Amelie has things, but it's like if we needed, my mom could take her, like the double the therapies. Whew.
Oh
Yeah.
no, I'm totally kidding, Tabitha. Like
No,
that's
me too. I'm just kidding too. I know it's not.
very challenging,
It's
especially
not
with
4
two
kids.
so close in age.
I
It's
just
not
saw
4
this
kids.
a TikTok. You guys know the Parent Trap movie, and this girl's talking about, she's like, what kind of parents would separate their twin daughters? And a mom, like, you like stitch it, and mom pops on, she's like, I kind of get it, 1 versus 2.
Yeah.
So funny.
It is like a tire pressure release. It just is like the amount of focus and energy expended. And I mean, I do feel sad that I have more independent time with Nora. Of course, I'm grateful for that, but I wish I also had some of that time with Nixon because I think he does get the short end of the attention just because Nora has so many safety issues at this
And she's
time.
younger. It's just
Yeah. You just have to
hard.
watch her so much more and she's just like a bombshell, like if she wants your focus,
You're going to give it to her.
there's no for that,
Yeah.
But on Wednesdays now, I will be picking him up from school. We'll have a couple hours before he has speech. So I'll
Nice.
have like just a little bit of time with him every week, just me and him. So that'll be really nice, I think. Yeah. So anyway, back to the grind. But school is great. I just gotta say, my kids need downtime, but not too long.
You guys, I remember we used to be out for 2.5 to 3 weeks in the beginning of the summer and 2.5 to 3 weeks at the end. And I thought that was dreadful. You guys have had, what did you have, 5 weeks?
It's so long.
Ridiculous.
It's so long.
And Celia over here, level 4, and had 8 seconds of school all summer. I mean, it's outrageous.
She had
I have been
12
out
weeks
since
of
November.
summer.
Oh, that's what we should make a song. Oh, that is a song.
Yeah. 12 weeks of summer, 2 or 3 hours, including busing per day. And I think she had to miss the last week because it was just too shit. If I remember right, it's like 3 weeks of baloney roni. I mean,
Oh yeah.
she doesn't even adjust her sails to the fact that it's happening.
Yeah.
And then
That to me is just so crazy because I thought about that. I'm like, okay, so my kids, which Nora was the same routine, that's fine. But my son, who goes to kindergarten, is now going to go to another building for a shortened day for 5 weeks or whatever, however many weeks it was. Then we're going to stop that. Then we're going to have 5 weeks off. Then we're going to go back to our school for kids that need routine.
and you're going to trust
and routine.
that It's
Yeah.
the same routine, Nixon.
And he
Yeah,
did
no.
okay. I mean, like he did okay. I don't think he was a big fan of the summer school. I'm just gonna say that right now. But not having anything for that long period of time just creates so much angst. Like even now, Nixon can
And
understand
sweaty
time.
bras and sleepless
Yeah.
nights and cocktails and
He
it makes
can
a
for
lot of things.
sure, like he's grasping onto the amount of sleeps, which is fantastic. Like that has been so helpful. Like we've been harping on that all summer. Like 2 more sleeps till this, 3 more sleeps till that. I got that from you, Jen and Kaya. But he's understanding that concept now, which is so helpful. And understanding like more days of the week, understanding time just in general. Like we're going to do this first. You have school, then after school, we're going to do this, which before he can understand, like there's no waiting for things to happen. So all of
Melissa just
that,
says no, thank you.
yeah. So all of that has
I
like,
mean, clearly she understands the days of the week, but if I try to like explain sleep, she's like, no, thank
yeah,
you. I don't want to know what nonsense you're talking, and I don't want to know.
we worked on it so hard over the summer specifically because there were so many changes that he could kind of catch on to
Yeah, that's
some of that
awesome.
stuff, which was really, really good. So anyway, but even with all of that, the angst and anxiety, and you get to a point with that where it's just so hard to manage yourself. Like I get anxious when he's anxious and I can't relieve his anxiety. And so I was feeling all of that for numerous weeks, just like stressed about him being anxious, and so he
Well,
wasn't
it's the
sleeping towards the
anticipation
end.
is so hard for them, I think.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
that's what like I feel like really triggers a lot of our kids,
Yeah.
Well,
Even
that's the thing
like
with
when
Jesse. Like Jesse could be on summer break forever. Like I mean, I try to keep a schedule of the day, but he does not love school. But it's more the anxious about going back to school.
Mhm.
That like that's when we get close, that's what causes problems. That's why like your thing kind of worked out, but it could have gone completely the opposite way and been a disaster.
well, that's
Mine
like her.
sleeps
She
over
gets
here.
so
Yeah.
anxious about VACATION, even though ultimately she loves it and she thrives and she's so happy and
Mhm.
content. Even though it's something she likes, she wants, and I think that's what all her anxiety that she was having was all due to her knowing that that was coming. She knew
Yeah.
it was coming. So
The
like,
waiting is the hardest. It's so hard. It's so, so hard.
and not waiting because she's excited about it. She's just, I think
knows it happens.
she
It's
doesn't
happening.
fully understand like when, how, where. Even when
Yeah.
you show her, like she doesn't fully get that. So it's like she just doesn't like any change, even though if it's bringing her like something good. And I
Yeah.
try to talk about it now and be like, "Oh, this is so fun. It wasn't VACA." No.
Even though she had so much fun.
Yeah, I don't know if I think she just associates it with like chaos. I can't imagine why.
Yeah. What about Kaya in high school, Jen?
Yeah, 9 days.
9
So
sleep. Yep.
exciting.
9 sleeps.
So all the new school clothes are bought, washed, hanging, dried. Her first day outfit is picked out. She's excited. Historically, we've not had a great run with school,
Yeah.
public or private, for whatever reason. But I can tell you all the reasons, but that's another episode, and it's maybe an after dark one. But I'm very hopeful. I really like the people
Yeah.
that are in this specific program. Like I really like. She's in a different department now, but she's lovely. I think she got in waiting to hear the specific program for kids with special needs. And it focuses more on life skills, and it's she's in the high school. But I got an email today from the school with my parental sign up. So I
Yay.
feel like that's like, I'm going to get the email tomorrow or something from a teacher. I'm hoping. So yeah, she starts high school, starts grade 8 on September 6th.
That
Really
is
excited for her.
so. I'm
Yeah,
excited for her
really
too.
excited for her.
And
So
what's really cute
hoping-
about Kaya is she like the stereotypical idea of high school, and like
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
so excited to go. And
Yeah, she I mean, I'm sure the novelty is going to wear off,
Yeah.
but she's excited. So
Well, and she's just so social.
well,
By
we
nature.
did. Yeah, for some people that homeschool and have the structure, I know it's great. Like one of the, Instagram moms we've had on, she's like this homeschooling queen. I am not, and I work full time. So I don't have the structure, and I'm not her teacher. I'm her mom.
I couldn't do that either.
So
Yeah.
homeschooling her, even having a tutor come in, she had no peers around her, and she suffered a lot emotionally. Her sleep is completely flipped upside down. She's been out of school since November. So she's been
That's
out
wild.
for a very long
Yeah, that's really wild.
So yeah, getting back to that, I think routine will be really good for her. But it's high school and I'm terrified. And
Yes.
It's so crazy because we've known, well, I mean, I guess just by the math, we've known Kaya since she was 10, right? Like that has to be the math. And she's wanted to be a teenager the whole time, forever.
yes,
Like the shoes she picks is it's a teenager. Teenagers do this. I do gymnastics and whatever, like all the teenager stuff. And now she's going to high school.
But it dawned on me the other day that she'll be going in our catchment, which is where our elementary was, which of course now those kids they're all going to go on to high school. And these kids witness some pretty ferocious meltdowns, which has always been my thing with inclusion, that it's great until it's not. It shows both sides of our kids, and it's not always an easy side for other kids to be around. They witnessed all her seizures where the lobby would be full of fire trucks and ambulances. And, it was always this, when that would happen, this chaos, and the kids would be left sort of traumatized from it when she would have some serious seizures. So I said, I hope they can see, how much she's grown. And I was like, I just really hope they're kind, because they were really kind in elementary. But I think as kids get older and you get into high school, kids just shift in general, so I'm hoping, and she won't have a lot of interaction with them. I think her elective.
I bet she'll get some hey Kayas in the hallway, though.
Yeah, because when we see them at the local park, they get like, Kaya, they get excited to see her. So yeah, I'm excited for her.
I'm excited for her too.
Love it.
It's a big new adventure.
Yeah, high school. Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I can't even imagine.
Teenagers go to high school. Yeah.
Yeah.
They sure do. And they also get up and they're not rude to their mother in the morning.
That's true of teenagers. I've heard that about teenagers.
Yeah.
They're so sweet.
They're very nice.
They're so sweet and grounded.
That's exactly how I was.
Yeah. Same. Just ask my mom. Yeah. I'm looking forward to the school wake up if you can't tell. Yeah. It's always fun.
So funny.
Oh my gosh, the school.
But it's like, our memories come up on Facebook, and just a few short years ago I wrote about, like I pick out her backpack and I pick out her lunchbox, and she still doesn't like to shop, but the girl can online shop better than anity.
She can throw down some bucks.
Yeah, she can add to cart like no one's business.
Our kids learned that so quick.
She picked out a lot of stuff that she wanted. So
that's cool.
That was sort of the shift in her going as well. So get ready for your overflood of feeds of back to school photos.
I can't wait.
They're coming. What about you, Rach? Celie Flanagan.
I think this is her first time going back to school where it's the same school, where she has not been like evicted in the middle. I don't know. I think it is. I think she's going to third grade and it's her first go back.
That's awesome.
Wait, she had missed you for 2, so maybe that's a little bit off. But anyways, she is nervous. She's concerned that she doesn't have a bestie. She's just sure that her Charlie is not going to be in the classroom with her. She's devastated. Where is he going to be? What if he makes another friend? But I think it's all just her trying to connect with like the faces and the people. Like she's very much like asking me, oh, is Kinsley at Pancalo? And I'm like, no, Kinsley was your friend when you were 3. She went to daycare with you. You last pooped your pants together. Like we've not seen Kinsley in a long time. Okay, is Aiden going to be there? No, Aiden lived in Venice Heights with us. We've not seen Aiden. No. Is Jocelyn, so it's like she's going through almost like drills of like what to imagine. We do have a open house on Wednesday, so it'll be nice to like walk in the building with her, go to her room, like kind of be okay in the space, and then we'll have 6 sleeps from then to like after we've walked through together, which really is nice because we entered the school system in 2019, and so it has just been our whole experience. Like it isn't like I got to be that mom. I know many of us are in this bracket, but it's like you didn't get to be the mom that walked the kid all the way to the first grade classroom or something. I've been like, get in the parking lot, B. You're not allowed in this building, So it's, I don't know. I just love the open house parts of things. So
open house is great. That was so helpful for Nixon. to see his new classroom, meet his new
And then I'm
teachers.
on the like film it on her phone the whole time so that she has it, her in the classroom. It's okay. Here's you with Mr. Josh or whoever her teacher is. Although I believe we'll keep Mr. Josh.
The
Anyhow.
old elementary school, I'm still on their Facebook page, and I saw that one of the moms put the principal's welcoming email that went out, which I didn't get. I must not have been on that list yet. But it was the kids are supposed to come pick all their lockers on Friday. And we didn't. I mean, she's probably not going to be out in there's 1,700 kids and they're adding roughly 200. I mean, the school's going to be max. I mean, it's like a lot of kids. So I don't think
we'll see you after Friday, please.
That's something I was going to say earlier about like our kids' entrance into any school, like high school level or changing levels, is like, it's never like the same. Like I look at my daughters, and we entered during like COVID time-ish with Jesse going into elementary school. So that made it a little different in that way. But like with my daughter, it's like we get a call from her teacher, and these are the expectations. We got a one-on-one meeting with her teacher where like she showed us where to come in and all this stuff. And with my son, we had to ask for that. We had to ask for like a school tour and all that stuff because he enters through a different path. He enters through like special education or the early intervention. And sometimes it's those people, because they usually deal with all grade levels and all stuff. They don't always think to do that stuff with all this. It's like, I mean, I know Kaya's probably not on those lists yet and stuff like that, but they might have just been like, hey, do you think Kaya would want a locker? Should we include you guys in this stuff? Because as a parent, sometimes we feel not included because we don't get to go on that typical path. Like I think I talked a little bit last year, like the year before, my son's class went on a field trip, and I got like the last minute notice, like, hey, your son's is able to go on this field trip with the typical class. It's in 2 days. Like they had already done like the parent volunteers and all that stuff, and I didn't get to do any of that because we're always like,
an afterthought.
An afterthought.
Yeah.
And well, I mean, again, she would love a locker, especially in between a bunch of boys. I mean, that would be her jam every single day.
What teenage girl wouldn't?
Right? It was a stab when I saw that.
Yeah.
That message, that email from the principal. Also because I was like, that means I'm not on not that the principal had any, I mean, it's one mailing list. I know he doesn't realize he's emailing Joan and Kelly and Karen. I hope there's no Karens, but you know what I mean? He doesn't know who it's a list, right? But I was like, well, that's disappointing. I'm not on that list,
Yeah, last year.
And I'm sure we're going to get to know each other really well. So you might want to start off a welcome email, sir.
Put you on the first
Sir.
CC. Blind copy me and everything you send out, please.
Yeah.
Last year for kindergarten, we didn't know that Nixon could come to the open house. So we just like show up, bring our supplies and all the stuff, and then all the kids are there, and I'm like, what the hell? I guess I forgot our child. I thought it was like a meet the teacher, like they were, because they talked to us about this PowerPoint that they were going to tell us who they were, and like it was the supply drop off, so you have to bring like 47 bags of school supplies with you that night. And then I'm like, damn it. Well, we missed out on the kindergarten open house. We didn't bring our child with us. Anyway, it was great.
I also haven't got the school list too, and that's stressing me out. Because I'm like, can I get the school list, please? Like,
oh my God, Google it. Send me the name of her school. I'll get you the damn
that's
school list.
That's probably on the website. Yeah, that's where I got it.
I'm so grateful.
Fancy technical stuff, okay?
Yeah,
our school does not do school. I mean, they don't. The school supplies, and I love that so much.
I just gotta say, it's a load of shit, in my opinion.
I think all schools should supply the school supplies. Yeah. Order in bulk. It has to be cheaper. I would rather just pay. I mean, luckily,
me too.
My kid's school works into their budget. But if they had to, I'd be like, I'll pay $100 for you guys. Yes. And I'm sure ordering in bulk makes it all cheaper. It's such a game. The school supplies don't get it.
And like, I'm fine, but I always think about the parents who do have 4 kids in 4 different grades, and it's $200 a kid for school supplies. Like how, and then you have to do school clothes and backpacks.
We don't get them. That's what we do. We don't get them. And then the teachers will provide them because they don't have them.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like insane.
We get whatever we can at Walmart. That's in those little bins for 25 cents and $1 and $2. And if they ain't there, then I'm to tell you people, $200, it's effing outrageous.
I'm not. Yeah, it was $200.
And who needs a new backpack every year? I'm like, listen here, Flanagan, you're gonna use that thing till it breaks.
Oh,
when I
Nixon
walk
has
into
the
the
same
kitchen
backpack.
and she's
Yeah.
stomping
Oh
on
no,
it.
that's one thing is every year she's cut it. I think that was more of my thing, picking out a new backpack every year. But I mean, I got a new backpack every year for school, and it was a JanSport.
Yeah, and I did that for my
say,
kids too.
she wants the same one as last year. Now she didn't really go last year very often. I mean, she ended
You
her
get
school
the exact
journey
same one as last year.
in November.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Do you want to get a new one?" And she's like, "No, purple backpack." I'm like, "Okay, that just saved mommy some money."
Yeah. As my kids get
you.
older, we'll probably need a new one every year. But since they're just like, they literally just have one folder
They
that
don't
goes in
put
it.
any,
Yeah.
it's like an extra pair of clothes and
Okay,
like a
we had
folder.
she had multiple lunch boxes. You girls got to have an option. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Bucket,
My kid
no.
has 39 backpacks. So it's a
And-
matter of those things.
Yeah.
Hers turns into a petri dish though, because she picks up every trash she finds in the hallway and she rescues the fruit snacks or the apple core or the fill in the blank. So it's like a yuck. We got a yuck. I have
Yeah.
a
I do wash her backpack. I mean,
Yeah. I wash my kids'
So
backpacks
do
too.
I.
But we got we did get new water bottles because that was I'm like, these have had a year's worth of use. Let's
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
recycle or get something new going on there. But it is just mind blowing to me when I think about I grew up in a very poor neighborhood. Like I could never imagine the school being like, you have to bring $200 worth of school supplies to this school. And there was as many kids in my elementary school as I graduated with in high school. You know, like in the whole school, like we had a huge elementary school. Like they provided all of the school supplies as far as I remember. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe,
Here we are.
maybe I didn't buy them, so maybe I don't know that school supplies were actually dropped off. But in the
I
80s,
remember going to the Target
90s,
to get
Yeah.
school supplies when I was a kid. I mean, that's still like my
That was fun.
70-degree day.
Or
Because
picking out your
I was
special
post
pen.
Lisa Frank. I was like I was Trapper Keeper.
I
Oh
had
yeah,
Trapper Keepers.
Heck
Mhm.
yes.
Yeah.
The Trapper
Well,
So
I was
ours
talking
is-
to my friend Bree about it, and she said on their list it's all like crayons, but it says Crayola crayons. Like it's all like the
Ours
which I
does
get too, because we've all used the crap crayons that don't work. So I
Those rose
understand.
art
They,
wax
hold on, they
birthday
asked for
candles.
Crayola crayons.
Mine does too, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the
Freaking
pens they
nerd.
ask for are like super expensive.
I'd make my own.
She's melting.
Jeez.
Oh,
She
no.
sends
Pieces
a
together.
brick of green, a brick of blue.
Crayola.
Shopping right.
We have a place called School Specialty, and you go online and it actually tells you what your
Uh.
school per grade needs. So you just pick her school grade she's in, and it tells you what, and they ship the box to your house. So it's actually pretty nice.
That's
All
amazing.
pre-packed with exactly what her class needs, but it's expensive.
I don't understand. My kids needed like a blue folder, a red folder, like a notebook,
know.
crayon, scissors, like
This is like
basic
5
stuff.
glue
None-
sticks,
none-
different
I think
sets of
it's lobbying.
crayons.
I think the Elmers is in there telling the
It is.
teachers,
I
hey,
get
we'll
it.
give you a little something if you require 5 like
Yeah.
it's such a racket. The whole thing is insane to me.
Be like,
And
is this a
I think it
sponsored
should be-
ad? Just tell me. Is this sponsored? Is this
Yeah.
a sponsor?
Crayola.
Yes, Miss Johnson,
You
you have
wanted
to
to-
disclose if this is a sponsored commitment.
You go on
Dude.
Facebook, the teachers are doing like a little reel. Sponsored.
You want to donate to the schools some freaking crayons.
Such madness in my life. Oh my God.
It is madness. You're so right.
we just got free lunches here in Colorado. They just voted
Minnesota
that in.
too.
So this year we have free lunches. I'm like, next thing, school supplies. Let's
Yeah.
This is what Nixon needed. 4 boxes of 24 Crayola crayons. 4 boxes.
Well, how often is he coloring?
4 boxes. 24 pencils. 1 box of colored pencils. 2 boxes of Crayola markers. 10 dry erase markers. Watercolor paints. An entire ream of white paper. 12 glue sticks. And it goes on and
He
on.
needs paper.
Goes on and on.
Oh my
it's
God.
so-
Did
so
this
friggin' long.
teacher include like, can you provide my HP printer ink?
This isn't even the teacher, it's the school. This is
Oh, the school. When
standard-
Jesse was in preschool, we had to bring printer paper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is
Apparently they don't
this
get
is
enough printer paper.
the standard first grade classroom supply list.
I
There's
just
like
want to
15
say,
other
if you're
things.
A
thinking it,
ream of
that is
paper?
fucked.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Don't they order from WB Mason? Like, what the hell's happening?
2 classroom size boxes of healthy snacks per trimester.
We always do that.
Hold on,
Um,
2 what?
Can I DoorDash it?
Healthy snacks.
I do.
Classroom size healthy snacks
Did
per
you say,
trimester.
did it say 2 boxes?
What's a healthy
Per trimester.
Per trimester.
a healthy
So they
what's a
want the
healthy
snacks
snack,
sent in
though?
ahead of time?
I
But a
gave
healthy snack is like an orange. You can't send an orange in.
fruit leather, I think, and
Oh, yes, you can. I sent 2
popcorn.
bags of clementines. I sent some graham crackers. I've sent some shit to those
2
schools. Here's
bags.
some bananas.
Like a
I mean-
box of goldfish it is.
I just want to preface with I do not blame the teachers. I do not
I
blame
know.
the school.
Of course.
The budgeting is ridiculous. Why is school supplies not included in the budget?
Why
Well,
is
I wanna-
Crayola paying the superintendent and it's not going to the teacher's budget?
No, it's an. I'm
I
gonna
mean,
cut
that's
this too.
discrimination against Rose Art crayons, if you ask me.
Yeah,
They're not that
Rose
bad.
Rose art is a little crappy. Cut this.
Basically, birthday candles.
We
Well,
need to
it
be
kind of
giving our
actually is,
schools more
actually.
money if the only option is for public school. There's one private school in this entire town.
Yeah.
Or you send your kids to public school, or you homeschool them.
Or
Like, why is there
it's
none of
Montana where there aren't laws and rules, apparently, because we learned from Carly, and you get to start your own charter school for 6 years.
I
Who
mean, I
else
bought
wanted
all
to
the
move?
stuff. I am all for supporting the classroom, but also $200.
I have news from
Okay.
Platteville. It's very strange, but I went school shopping because it is my love language to buy some Crayola products and some tapes and such. And then there was no school shopping for my daughter because her level 4 school has to provide this homemade crayons and I don't even know how they do their thing. The Pink Hollow has the crayons covered. Anyways, the art bar got restocked about it. We have bold markers now.
Oh,
I did pick up some sale stuff at Walmart because since we're well into school, a bunch of it's on sale now for home. I did.
Yeah.
I just
Hold
feel bad for the teachers who can't have the supplies that they need for their classroom to support their students.
For
Yeah.
real.
It's insanity. That
Yeah.
is crazy.
Also,
And
can we
Well,
pay
and
our
it's
teachers more?
insanity that they're asking for
Yeah.
brand
Start
name
with paying our
products. Like,
teachers
what?
more.
Yeah.
And I get like the aspect of it, they want better products, but at the same time, that things that are gonna last or whatever. But at the same time, it's like you can't put the expectation on parents. And I know often if you ask teachers, they're like, "Oh, we ask for extra because some kids can't afford it." or
Parents
buy it."
can't afford it. Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so why aren't we supplying what we can through school and then filling in, like the printer paper thing to me. I'm like, that should be in the school.
I mean, that's just
budget.
wild. I can't even.
Oh, we had to bring print, and I would always bring extra.
You
Yeah,
had to do that
is about
too.
to-
You had to bring
In
printer paper
preschool.
too.
In Jesse's preschool, we had to bring a ream of paper per kid,
Why?
and he didn't sent home 500 pieces of paper. So I want to know with
Don't let my boss hear about this. She'll be trying to get us to do this with the daycare kids.
daycare supplies now.
We might have to cut out this whole section on school supplies. Just know that it's just madness.
Well, we
Yeah.
hope that you've enjoyed our either 1 hour and 10-minute episode or our 37-minute ultra edited episode. We are coming at you next time with another extraordinary series. Of course, we are the Table for Five, so we're just not sure what that is yet, but it's going to be fantastic.
Yay.
I am proud to acknowledge that every one of the moms and dads listening to this podcast episode made it through the end of summer. Which
Yay!
basically,
Congratulations, everyone.
Gold
Congratulations.
star.
Also, don't judge these parents that send their kids to school in old raggy clothes because they can't afford new clothes.
Yeah,
today.
they had to
So
buy
don't
markers.
spend on brand name school supplies.
I love that.
Here's your freaking Sharpies and my kid in his high water pants. Have a nice
Yeah.
day.
See what gift you get at Christmas. Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna get a little. What are those called? The shooties alcohols. Those little shooties that you
Oh yeah, one
you don't
shot.
get a full alcoholic gift or alcohol store gift card. You get a little shooty. Anyway, thank you everybody. Have a great
So fun.
rest of the week.
Thanks,
Thanks,
everyone.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us at the table for this episode of the Table for Five No Reservations podcast. Big thank you to all of our supporters. If you would like to become a supporter, please check out the description of this episode, where you will also find episode information, how to sign up for our newsletter, and find links to us individually. Join us next Monday for more, and while you wait, check out our content on Facebook and Instagram. If you are enjoying the podcast, please subscribe and rate and review us wherever you listen. To contact us, you can email us at tablefor5podcast@gmail.com. We'll see you next week. Can't wait to sit with you again.